The Pacific region is facing unprecedented levels of tension. Multiple flashpoints threaten to erupt into conflict. The United States-China rivalry lies at the heart of this instability. Territorial disputes further exacerbate these tensions. The South China Sea, in particular, has become a focal point for potential conflict. Additionally, North Korea's nuclear ambitions and strained Japan-South Korea relations add to the volatility. Recent incidents, including collisions at sea and provocative military exercises, have heightened anxieties. The risk of miscalculation and escalation is palpable. The Pacific is home to some of the world's most dynamic economies. It is also a region with a long history of conflict. Today, the potential for war in the Pacific is higher than it has been in decades. This is due in large part to the rise of China and its assertive pursuit of its interests in the region. China's growing military power is challenging the United States' long-standing role as the dominant security guarantor in the Pacific. The United States remains committed to upholding a free and open Indo-Pacific. However, its ability to do so is being tested by China's growing assertiveness. The United States has responded to China's challenge by strengthening its alliances in the region. It has also increased its military presence in the region. These actions have been met with mixed reactions from other countries in the region. The stakes are high for all involved. A war in the Pacific would be devastating for the region and the world. It is therefore essential that all parties work to reduce tensions and find peaceful solutions to their disputes. The international community must remain vigilant and engaged in efforts to prevent conflict in the Pacific. The United States-China relationship is the defining geopolitical rivalry of the 21st century. Both nations are nuclear-armed superpowers with global interests. The two countries are deeply intertwined economically. However, they are also strategic competitors with fundamentally different visions for the international order. This rivalry has intensified in recent years. Competition has spread from the economic realm to encompass security, technology, and ideology. The United States has long been the dominant power in the Pacific. However, China's economic and military rise is challenging this dominance. China is pursuing territorial claims in the South and East China Seas. It is also modernizing its military at a rapid pace. These actions have raised concerns in Washington and among United States allies in the region. The United States is committed to maintaining its military presence in the Pacific. It sees this presence as essential to deterring Chinese aggression and reassuring allies. However, China views the United States' presence as provocative and destabilizing. This difference in perception is a major source of tension between the two countries. The United States and China are engaged in a complex and dangerous strategic competition. There is a risk that this competition could escalate into conflict. Managing this rivalry will require careful diplomacy and a willingness to compromise on both sides. Failure to do so could have catastrophic consequences for the region and the world. The Taiwan Strait is perhaps the most dangerous flashpoint in the United States-China rivalry. China claims Taiwan as its own territory. It has vowed to reunify the island with the mainland by force if necessary. The United States, while formally adhering to a one-China policy, has committed to providing Taiwan with the means to defend itself. This has created a delicate balance that has kept the peace for decades. However, the risk of conflict over Taiwan is growing. China has grown increasingly assertive towards Taiwan. It has stepped up military activities around the island, including air and naval patrols. China has also threatened economic coercion and diplomatic isolation. These actions are designed to pressure Taiwan into accepting unification on Beijing's terms. The United States has responded to China's pressure campaign by reaffirming its commitment to Taiwan. It has increased arms sales to the island and conducted naval transits through the Taiwan Strait. The Biden administration has also stated that the United States would come to Taiwan's defense in the event of a Chinese attack. Although the precise nature of this commitment remains deliberately ambiguous, the situation in the Taiwan Strait is fraught with risk. Any miscalculation or accident could quickly escalate into a major conflict. The possibility of a Chinese blockade of Taiwan is a particularly worrying scenario. Such a move would have severe economic and humanitarian consequences and could easily draw the United States into a conflict. Section 4, Territorial Disputes and Regional Instability navigating the South China Sea and beyond. The South China Sea is another major potential flashpoint in the Pacific. China claims almost the entirety of this strategically vital waterway. It has been building artificial islands and militarizing existing features in the region, raising concerns among its neighbors and the United States. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all have competing claims in the South China Sea. China's assertive actions in the South China Sea have led to several confrontations with other claimant states. Chinese and Filipino vessels clashed near the Second Thomas Shoal in 2023, resulting in injuries and heightened tensions. The US has conducted freedom of navigation operations, commonly known as FONOPs, in the South China Sea to challenge China's excessive maritime claims. However, these operations have been met with anger from Beijing. Beyond the South China Sea, other regional tensions contribute to the overall instability. North Korea's nuclear and ballistic missile programs remain a major security threat. Pyongyang has conducted numerous missile tests in recent years, defying international sanctions. Strained relations between Japan and South Korea, stemming from historical grievances and territorial disputes, further complicate regional security dynamics. These tensions create opportunities for miscalculation and could potentially entangle the US in a wider conflict. The complex web of territorial disputes, historical animosities, and great power rivalry makes the Pacific a tinderbox. The risk of conflict, whether intentional or accidental, remains high. Addressing these challenges will require a multifaceted approach. Deterrence, diplomacy, and economic resilience will be crucial to maintaining peace and stability in the region. Conclusion: the imperative of diplomacy and deterrence. The Pacific region is at a crossroads. The potential for war is real and growing. The US-China rivalry, the Taiwan Strait, the South China Sea, and other regional tensions create a combustible mix. The consequences of a major conflict in the Pacific would be devastating for the region and the world. Preventing such a catastrophe requires a clear-eyed understanding of the challenges and a commitment to both deterrence and diplomacy. The US must maintain a credible military presence in the region to deter aggression and reassure allies. However, this presence must be carefully calibrated to avoid provoking China. Diplomacy is equally crucial. The US and China must find ways to manage their rivalry and prevent it from spiraling into conflict. Dialogue and cooperation on issues of mutual interest, such as climate change and non-proliferation, can help to build trust and reduce tensions. Regional organizations such as ASEAN can also play a constructive role in promoting dialogue and cooperation. The future of the Pacific hangs in the balance. The choices made today will determine whether the region descends into conflict or finds a path to lasting peace and prosperity. The stakes are too high to allow for complacency or miscalculation. The time for vigilance, diplomacy, and a renewed commitment to peace is now.